YouTube, welcome back to the channel, and for today's deck list, we are going to be taking a look at Frank Percic's Whimsicott VSTAR deck that he used to take second place at the European International Championship this past week. So let's hop on the deck list and I'll show you what he was working with. Alrighty, so here is the deck list. Now, it's not the exact deck list. We did shift some things around for consistency's sake, and we added some spicy text, as you know we love to do on this channel, but it's pretty much the same strategy that Frank used to win second place in the international tournament. So let's take a look at the star of this deck, which is the Whimsicott VSTAR. And yeah, it just came out from this new Brilliant Star set, but it was kind of an overlooked card. I didn't see a lot of players really use it on the ladder. I think Arceus VSTAR definitely took the show in terms of the best card that came from Brilliant Star sets, but this Whimsicott is actually really nice currently in this meta. So the first attack that we have is the Trick Wind attack, which does 160 for 1 Psychic and 2 colorless. And if you use this attack, your opponent cannot play any tools or special energy from their hand next turn, which is so powerful in this meta because you have so much special energy just being flooded in every deck list. You have single strike energy, you have rapid strike energy, you have fusion strike energy, and you even have the double turbo for the Arceus VSTAR. So you're denying your opponent from essentially playing the game, which makes this a really good disruption deck. And you're doing 160, but the only thing is, to power this up really quickly, you're probably going to use double turbo energy yourself, so you're probably going to be only doing 140, which kind of takes it from 2-shot potential to 3-shot potential, which is the only downside of this deck. But if you're denying your opponent special energy, they're not attacking you, so you can sit in the active and you can dish out a lot of damage. And if your opponent tries to retreat or tries to set up some other attacker and you want to chase them down but you don't have boss in hand, you have this VSTAR power. You have Fluffball Star for 1 psychic energy. You can do 60 damage to any of your opponent's Pokemon for each energy attached to this Pokemon. And yes, it does count towards the double turbo. So if you do have a double turbo energy, you can use Fluffball Star and hit for 180, but then you would do -20, so you would do 160. Now, besides that, we are running the Bibarel line. We're doing a 3-3 because this is the main draw engine of this deck. You want to be able to put some stuff on your bench that's not going to be a liability, but also allow you to consistently draw. This deck is very low maintenance. You're not really searching for a lot of things. You're just trying to find ways to get that attack going and chaining that attack so that you can deny your opponent those special energy attachments. Besides that, we do play 1 Lumineon. I did say that we don't want any liabilities on the bench, but just in case if we are bricking, we do have the Lumineon to find a boss or find Marnie or research or what have you. We do play 4 Crushing Hammers. This is my first disruption deck. I have been straying away from using Crushing Hammers just because I feel so bad when I land them, but it is kind of necessary in this deck just in case if you are falling behind and your opponent starts attaching stuff, you do need the Crushing Hammer to kind of set them back so that you can get the jump on them before they start knocking out a bunch of your Pokemon. We do play Fan of Waves. Fan of Waves is super helpful because it allows you to put energy back on the deck, which means they draw into it, but then they can't attach it because that Trick Wind effect is still in play. So Fan of Waves is super nice. We are playing 4 Path of the Peak. Path of the Peak is super necessary. It shuts down Mew VMAX, it shuts down Duraludon, it shuts down Arceus VSTAR. So you definitely need the Path of the Peak to try and shut down your opponent so that they don't draw into what they need to get out of the Trick Wind lock. The supporters are pretty much standard. So we have the boss, we have the Marnie, we have the research. We do play 2 Raihan just in case if they do knock out your VSTAR, you can then attach the psychic energy from their discard pile and then search for either a double turbo or a VSTAR and then just keep going. Now here is where we play our spicy text. We do play 1 Sidney. Now I haven't used it, so this is a flex spot. You can definitely change this with something else, but I think the Sidney works on paper in this deck because if you're denying your opponent those special energies, say for instance fusion strike energies, you can play Sidney and then discard those fusion strike energies so that they don't have any way of reutilizing them, right? You can also use it for Pokemon tools and for the stadiums, so it has a little bit of versatility, but I only play the 1 of. It's not super reliable in this deck, so you could switch this out with any other supporter if you like. The other spicy tech that we have in this deck is the rugged helmet. Basically, in case of the scenario where, say, for instance, your opponent uses single strike roar and attaches an energy to their active, and then they attack you, you could send that energy back in, use Trick Wind, and then prevent them from using that single strike energy. So this is definitely a useful card. It also causes a little bit more disruption in other decks as well. So I definitely do love the rugged helmet addition to this deck. Besides that, we are playing 4 double turbo energy. It's pretty much the main accelerator to this deck, allows you to attack turn 2, and we play 5 psychic energy. And that is going to be it for the deck list. So let me know down in the comment section what you guys think of this deck list, and let me know if this is something you guys want to see more of on the channel, me going over meta decks that have been played at major tournaments. The only reason why I singled this deck list out of all the other ones at the EUIC is because this is a deck list that is a little bit more unique, something that we haven't seen in a while, and I definitely wanted to try it out, and it did not disappoint. So let us hop onto the ladder and I'll show you some of the matches that I got with Whimsicott VSTAR. This could be interesting because we can deny them from attaching energy, but if they play a bunch of Houndours and Houndooms, they could still get energy going. So what I'm gonna like to do, you know, Sidney could be really good here, just because I'm going to force them to burn a lot of single strike energies, which lets them use their urns, but it's going to make them use their urns early in the early game, which is going to be, you know, difficult for them in the late game to try and recover those energies. So we need to really time our crushing hammers right, and time the Sidney right as well. It looks like they're only getting 1 Houndour. And it's pretty much an Umbreon focused deck, which is going to be annoying. We'll go Fog Crystal, grab ourselves that Whimsicott. I'm going to drop that down. I'll drop the energy. And they didn't attach for turn, so that tells me that they don't have the energy in hand. So I'm gonna hold the hand. That way next turn I can still do Whimsicott VSTAR. I can Marnie into a fresh hand and then potentially switch and hopefully get a double turbo energy. Oh, they opted to not use Crobat. Interesting. Okay, I was just double checking, making sure that we don't have darkness weakness, but we have metal weakness, which is nice. Okay, they capture into another Houndour, so they have two Houndours. So next turn I definitely want to do Marnie. But I also need a way to switch into the Whimsicott VSTAR. They can get 1 Houndoom in play, which means they can get 1 single strike energy in play. If they have a Fan of Waves, that's also going to be really useful, because then they're going to have to keep using their single strike roar, which means they're going to be taking more damage. So it kind of helps with the math, because the double turbo energy reduces our damage, which is not the best thing. Having 160 is really nice because you can 2-shot a lot of VMAXs, but 140 just makes it a little bit awkward. It's kind of like that same scenario with what is it, the Rapid Strike Inteleon. Doing 140 is just a really awkward number. But they opt to power up the Umbreon, which is going to be really good. If we can get Path to the Peak, that's going to be nice, because then it's going to stop them from being able to use their gusting effects. Okay, so we have the VSTAR. I'm going to opt to go with Marnie first before I do this attachment, just in case if I can switch and get the double turbo. We do get the double turbo, that's nice. We have the crushing hammer, but we don't have the switching option. That's fine. Let's go with the hammer first. Okay, we failed the hammer. That's okay. Let's attach the double turbo. Now, do I go with the Ultra Ball for the Bibarel? Yeah, I think that's fine. We'll do that. Go for the Bibarel, just so that we're not completely out of luck next turn, and then we'll go with the Industrious Incisors, grab some more cards. I can drop down another Whimsicott, and Yeah, I think that's fine. We'll save the Fog Crystal for next turn. Now they can gust up this Whimsicott and potentially take it out. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Because if they get 2 more single strike energies, they'll be adding on 60. Now, I don't know how much the base VMAX does. I think it does 200. No, they put on another capture energy. So this does 160. So they're doing 180. Yeah, 160. So they can do 180 with their, what is it called? Moonlight Blade. That's such a cool name for an attack. But are they going to continue powering up this? No, they're going to power up the Urshifu, which is fine. Now, what I want to do is try and get some Fan of Waves, try and get some more Crushing Hammers, see if I can't deny them these special energy attachments. It just sucks that we weren't able to switch into this Whimsicott into the active, because then they wouldn't have been able to do the capture energy, but it looks like they don't really have much. I mean, they have the knockout on this Bidoof, but after that, if we can just deny them attachments, we should be in a pretty good position. What I'm going to do is I'll go here, drop that down. I'm going to go with... Let's go with Fog Crystal, just burn that. Have an energy attachment onto this Whimsicott here. And then let's go with the Marnie. We have another Bibarel, we have double turbo, or sorry, not Bibarel, I always get them mixed up. We have a Bidoof, and we have some double turbo, so we can put this down, that's fine. And then Industrious Incisor for 1. Can we get the path? We do get the path, that is amazing. So that is perfect, we can drop that down. And then we can go with the Trick Wind. And then hit that. So unless they have the Stadium Bump, which they probably do, then they can't gust up, they can't stall. And yeah, that should be pretty much it, because now what can they do? They can still do Moonlight Blade for 180. Okay, now they can do Max Darkness for also 180, but they can't gust because of that path. They can't attach any more capture energies. I doubt they have any more capture energies, but they also can't attach single strike energy. So they have to accelerate it with these Houndooms, which means they can get 2 attachments, and that means they can do G-Max 1 blow. No, they can't. They can do Beatdown, pretty much. That's the only attack that they have available besides Max Darkness. They are going to power up this Urshifu. Now, like I said, Fan of Waves would be super nice right now, because then we could force them to put the energy back in the deck and then bring it back out and then hurt them even further. But we'll see what happens. Who will they opt to attack with? The Umbreon or the Urshifu? That is the question. Either way, we have boss, so we can take out the Urshifu. No, not the Urshifu. We can take out... It sucks because we are 10 away from taking out this Umbreon VMAX, but that's actually fine. I'm okay with just taking out this and having another Whimsicott later, because we can actually take out this Urshifu pretty easily because of weakness. And so yeah, we have this double turbo. Let's go with crushing onto... Let's go Crushing Hammer. No dice, okay. If I do that, if I boss up this Urshifu, I'm doing 140, which would be 280. Yeah, we could take the knockout, which would be really nice. Let's do that. I'm gonna boss up this Urshifu, go into that, go Industrious Incisors, put this here, grab another Bibarel, and we'll go Industrious Incisors again. See if we can't grab anything. Another path is really nice just in case. That's all good. And then we can do Trick Wind and take 3 prizes there. So super nice. And we prevent them from putting things like Balloon. We can prevent them from putting things like Choice Belt if they had it. And we prevent them from attaching more energy. And we also got rid of 3 single strike energy. So they're going to have to use Urn, throw it back into the deck. There's that Urn. And then just power up another Umbreon. But as long as we have a way to KO this Umbreon, we are totally fine. We just have to fish for another boss, which means we just have Ultra Ball and we can grab that Lumineon for the boss. So this is pretty much in our favor, but we'll see what they have to answer. So they can definitely KO this Whimsicott. That's totally fine. And they are going to go with Marnie. Okay. So Marnie is going to help them out there. They could get the Stadium Bump. Stadium Bun? What is a Stadium Bun? Okay. But we do have another path, which is really nice. We have 2 Bibarel, so I'm not really fussed about potentially getting another draw supporter. We do also have Raihan, which could be useful. It could. And you know what? I'm missing the obvious play, which is actually I don't need boss. I have Fluffball Star. Fluffball Star can allow me to ping anything on their board. So even if they do retreat this Umbreon, and even if they, you know, KO this Whimsicott VSTAR, I do have one on the bench. As long as I can attach to it, I can take the KO on to this Umbreon VMAX. I don't even need to attach to it because I'm pretty much doing 180, take away 20. So I'm doing 160, which would definitely be enough. So we pretty much have this in the bag, I would say. Let's just see what my opponent can whip up in this next turn. They did get a Crobat V down, so they're getting a lot more cards in their hand, but I'm just wondering, is it going to be enough? Because our Trickstar, or God, I'm mixing up all these names. Our Trick Wind is still affecting them, right? Yeah. So they can't do Balloon, they can't do, what am I thinking of? They can't put down Single Strike Energy, they can only attach it through Houndoom, which they did. But yeah, I don't see many options for them. So if they do take the knockout, we actually have access to Raihan, which is going to be very helpful. And they are going to evolve, so that means they are going to switch, or at least gust up. Oh no, they gust up the one with the balloon. So even if they opt to not take the knockout, I can still retreat. But they are going to go for the knockout, which is totally fine. Because now what we can do is go in with a fresh VSTAR and use Raihan and take the game. Yeah, I'm gonna drop the path just in case. Yeah, we'll just go with the Raihan, attach the energy here, and we can even, just to make sure our numbers are right, we can go for the last energy, drop it on here. And let's just go with the Fluffball Star onto this Umbreon VMAX and take the knockout with 280 damage. And that is pretty much all she wrote. Okay, we have a Whimsicott start, which is fine. I just want to potentially want to get a Bibarel as well, or Bidoof, sorry. I am playing up against a Fusion Strike deck, but is it like a variant of Mew, or is there a focus on Deoxys and Meloetta? But either way, this is going to be a great matchup because they're relying a lot on their Fusion Strike energy. And if we can get a Whimsicott VSTAR set up pretty early, we could potentially deny them an attack at all, right? Unless they're playing like Double Turbo and either Single Strike or Rapid Strike, this Deoxys isn't going to be able to utilize its Fusion Strike abilities. Okay, they do have regular Psychic Energy, so they can attack, but how they will attack is the question. They do have Alessa Sparkle. I'm not entirely sure if this prevents Alessa Sparkle from activating. If so, we do have ways to throw the energy back into their hand with, say, the Rugged Helmet or the Fan of Waves. Those are options that we definitely want to look to, but we'll see how quickly they get set up. Now, they can't use Alessa Sparkles now, so they'd have to use it next turn, which means they could still get 3 energy on board, and they could potentially knock out this VSTAR. Okay, they got a Rope, which tells me that they're just trying to burn a lot of cards. Okay. So they're going to pass. I am hesitant to put this Crushing Hammer. Let's do it. I think we want to get rid of that energy just so that if they less a Sparkle, they can't attack next turn. We do get it. That's really nice. I'll put the double turbo and let's go with the Marnie. See if we can't put anything on the bench. We do get another V-Star and we do get the Fan of Waves. We whiff the Bidoof, which is not fantastic, but as long as they don't KO us, then we don't lose. Because we do have Fan of Waves, we have Crushing Hammer, we do have the energy to attack, and we have the V-Star. So this hand is okay. It has enough for me to keep going. It's just, can I survive this Mew VMAX turn? Which I think I should be fine. Because they could still do a Lesser Sparkle and then attach, but that means that they have to have the Fusion Strike energy in hand and the Lesser Sparkle, which is not hard for them to do, especially with all these Rotom Phone plays. But yeah, if we survive this turn, then we win, or not win, but we can keep playing the game. But if they can get what they need, then I lose pretty much because I don't have any basics on the bench. So we'll see what happens. But let's see, they're thinking real hard about that Rotom Phone. The Deoxys is a pretty interesting tech. Not sure why it would be playing that, but you know, could be an alternate attack that Mew VMAX could use. They use Opal. This is an interesting variant. They get one heads, they search the cards for, put them in their hand and shuffle the deck. Okay, so they pulled any card that they wanted, but because that wasn't a Lesser Sparkle, we survived the turn, pretty much. So we definitely can still stay in this, right? If they attach a Fusion Strike energy, we can Fan of Waves it back into their hand, we can evolve, put the energy, and then just start using our Trick Wind, which allows or denies my opponent from using any tools or special energies. And they opt to put it on the Deoxys. Okay, so we have pretty much free reign to take control of this match now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually use the Crushing Hammer first and see if I can't just get rid of it. Nah. Okay, so I will go with the Fan of Waves then, throw it back into the deck, and then just go with some Trick Winds. It's going to be a 3-hit knockout, but at this point, they don't really have any way to attack. They would still have to do a Lesser Sparkle with attachment with a regular basic energy in order to even attack. And then, yeah, that would only, if they were going to use Melodious Echo, would do 140. Okay, so there's the Lesser Sparkle. We do have the other Fan of Waves in hand, so we just gotta hope that we get some sort of support next turn. That way we're just not left out here all alone. They're going with Power Tablets. That's scary. I completely forgot about the Power Tablets and how they changed the math. Oh no, they're really going hard on this turn. Ooh. And they're gonna Quick Ball, which tells me that they're digging. They're digging for that Fusion Strike energy. But with 3 Genesects, they can definitely have a good chance of getting it. We'll just see. Well, they don't need the Fusion Strike energy, they just need energy, right? So they're gonna do 140 plus 60, so they're doing 200 if they can get the attack off this turn. They're going with the switch, okay, they're stalling, so they're going with the Genesect. Or no, they're just burning more cards. Should have expected it. Now, it's good because they can't put like things like Choice Belt, so they can't up their damage that way either. Old Cemetery is not really going to be a bother for us, just because we are also Psychic, so that's nice. But we have Fan of Waves, right, to work with, but do we have anything else on the top deck? We really need to get something, and they don't have anything, and we also don't have anything. So I'm wondering how much do they have? I'm thinking I Fan of Waves the Mew and then just keep going for the knockout Or do I go with the Fluffball Star in hopes that they don't power up another one? They used how many power tablets? They used only 2, so they have essentially 2. So I'm going to still try and deny them the energy at the moment and use the Fluffball Star later. I'm not going to use it now because I still want to deny them the ability to attach these Fusion Strike energies. I want them to burn more cards so that their chances of attacking will be less, and then I can snipe this at any point with the V-Star power. Now, alternatively, they could switch into Genesect to try and stall me out. They could switch into Meloetta, and see, there's that other power tablet. So they are burning them, looking for some sort of out, but if they don't get it, I'm assuming they are just going to retreat into one of their bench, which is fine. I'm not in any rush. Well, I need to record some videos, but besides that, you know, I'm not in any rush to take my KOs. Alright, so we do see that retreat. Do they have attachment? Because if they do, then they can at least do 70. Which isn't the worst thing. Okay, and then they pass. So what I can do, I'm thinking, because if I keep going with this Fluffball trick, then I prevent them from attaching Fusion Strike energies. I want them to burn more or less of Sparkles. If I get rid of this Meloetta now, it's going to be beneficial because then they don't have Melodious Echo. They definitely won't have enough to do a Techno Blast because they can't even put down the double turbo. So I'm going to do this, and then I'll drop the energy down here. And then I think Trick Wind is just fine. With denying them this energy and then getting rid of one of the Fusion Strike energies off their board is actually really nice. And we draw Bidoof, which is not bad, right? Eventually, we'll be able to get a Bibarel line going, but right now, this is pretty good, because they're going to still need to stall out for a couple more turns. Now, they still technically have 3 Fusion Strike energies in deck, so the moment that I don't use the Fluff or the Trick Wind, they could, if they wanted to, attach a Sparkle, but that's only going to give one of these Mews 2 energy. Which means they could go with the Cross Fusion Strike and hit me for 210. But even so, if they use one of the power tablets, they're going to do 240, which wouldn't be enough to take the knockout. And, oh, sadly enough, I can't win with Fluff gets in the way, but we can still retreat. The boss isn't going to do too much to me. It just makes it a little bit harder for me to power up another Whimsicott on the bench. But it seems like they are in a pickle still. So what I'm going to do is I'll drop the Bidoof. We finally get the Lumineon, which is great because now we can draw into more cards. But I'm wondering if I save that for next turn. Just so I don't lose a barrel, because I'm thinking I don't have any other supporters besides Marnie and Research. I think I'm going to keep it in hand. I'm fine in the position that I'm in, so I think I'll just retreat, go into this, and yeah, still go with the Trick Wind, put my damage out on the board, and then just eventually use the Fluffball Star to get rid of either one of the Mews, and then use Boss to take game. So they're going to evolve into this Mew VMAX as 170. So I have the chance to take out either one of them. So whichever one they try to evolve into, or not evolve into, sorry, whichever one they try to power up, I'm going to target. But right now, just denying them the energy is going to be really good. Now we did lose the Lumineon in that Marnie, but we got Bibarel, so that's a-okay. Rugged Helmet's also going to be very disgusting. And they're going to use Rope again to try and stall me out, but we do have energy in hand for this situation. If I had like Balloon, this would be really nice. But what are they going to do? They're gonna go into the other Mew VMAX, okay. And they're just gonna keep doing Fusion Strike System. We can attack, okay, so next turn we're gonna definitely do Bibarel, we're gonna attach, retreat, drop the helmet, draw into some fresh cards, and then just go from there. Yeah, I feel real confident. Yeah, we don't even need to do that. What I can do is to do this, drop the Bibarel, do the helmet on this one. Let's go retreat. I'll drop the energy on this one. We can even use the Rose Tower, and we won't even have an energy to use with this Crushing Hammer. So what we're gonna do is just grab the other V-Star, drop that down, and then let's go with the, come on, Industrious Incisors. Oh, I just realized I'm not even using the Quiet Mouse, and they just concede. Yep. So devastating decks you can see, like Mew VMAX, Urshifu, they're gonna have a hard time against this deck if you don't let them attack, which I feel bad doing, but that's the name of the game. That's energy denial. So that's going to be it for the video. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think of this Whimsicott VSTAR decklist. I had a lot of fun playing it. Disruption is very strong in this current meta, especially denying special energy. So if you want to shake up the meta a little bit, definitely try this deck out for yourselves. If you liked the video, then hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and then ring that bell to be notified for next week's video. That is going to be it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys later. I'm gassy.